Hi, welcome back to the Benita Show, where we're showcasing a lot of our local talent, whether it be actors or actresses, producers, writers, directors, and in this case we have Mary Berry, who is a publicist. Mary, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And I was excited that you added to our roster at the last minute, so you're the publicist for Donnie Blake, so this is how I came to know you, so I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Mary, tell us a little bit about your background, education, or whatever you want to talk about.
You know, I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
What I'll consider a late bloomer. I had a daughter very young, just less than a year after high school. I found that I was pregnant. Of course, that's a big surprise, and kind of throws any plans off for college, which I was in college at the time. So after I had her, you know, being very young and not really having a lot of worldly wisdom, but thinking you do, because you do when you're 18, 19, I just kind of started working full-time, and I had every job under the sun for about 4 years. Anything from bartender, ranch hand, grew up in Southern Illinois, office work, a hair salon person where I washed the scalps of women that sometimes had work done. And coming across those scars was not so much fun when you're washing their heads. Sweeping hair, you name it. It was just kind of a roster of bartending, waitressing, all those kinds of things. And I always knew I got more brains than this, but I didn't know which direction to go. And I was afraid to make a move with my future and my career until I really, really had an idea. So it took me about 4 years or so to really, really get to that point where I was done with these jobs. I had a daughter to take care of, so I really just started doing my homework and started researching what is a good fit for me. Where are my natural talents and abilities? So I went to school to become a legal assistant. That was a two-year degree, and I went on to get my bachelor degree at Webster University. I majored in business management, minored in marketing, and at that time I'd always known I was a good writer and good creatively and artistic and all those things. And I got my first little editorial assistant position at Webster University while I was a student, and being surrounded by those writers, I just knew I got to find a way to do this. I got to find a way to do this as a career. So that's my first inspiration, of where I really started leaping towards those, taking small opportunities that grew into bigger opportunities in writing, in media relations, pitching to the media, you know, doing a lot of branding, coming up with slogans, writing commercials, and the whole umbrella of PR and writing. I've written poetry. I'm starting a book this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have that ready, at least ready for publication by the end of the year.
And what's
I've been writing songs.
Writing songs,
The book, I'm a little apprehensive, I guess, about talking about it. I will, though. I had a rocky year last year. I lost 2 of my biggest clients at the same time, and because I got sick with hypoglycemia, and I rapidly lost weight, and it spiked my blood pressure, and the doctors couldn't get to the bottom of what was causing the hypoglycemia to be as serious as it was, and causing my, you know, perfectly healthy heart to be as it was. So a lot of bad things happened. I started saying dedicated nightly miracle prayers every night. I was scared. I lost my clients. I was losing my boyfriend. I found out he was doing bad things for 2.5 years. I was sick, and nobody could figure it out. I was getting lab tests every week, and I just went to God, and I prayed my little heart out every night because I was scared, and I was desperate, and I didn't know where else to turn, which I was spiritual anyway and prayed anyway, but this was dedicated nightly. Please, God, help me. And within 2 weeks, I started having answers to my prayers like the next day. I have goosebumps talking about it. So further than that, some other spiritual experiences started happening to me. I guess maybe edit this up if you need to, but because this is what was explained to me by a Catholic priest and by, of all things, a medium who helped coach me through this. I had said so many prayers so often, so consistently, it basically opened up what's called your chakra, like your third eye, and it kind of lets everything spiritual in, or even spirits from the deceased or whatever. So at night, I started seeing all these things when my eyes were closed, and I knew it was something, and I knew it wasn't just the norm of what happens to me when I fall asleep, and it started happening every night, and it scared me. So I called my medium friend and said, something's going on, what is it, you know, and he coached me through some things. So between some photographs that I had taken, and all of those experiences happening to me at night, and they started happening to me during the day with my eyes open, and a couple of medium friends and people who are very experienced with divinity, meaning God, angels, anything that's divine, I was seeing angels. And I've captured them in photos and video. It's been confirmed by 2 different Catholic priests. I still have 2 paranormal experts that want to look at some of them. So it changed my life forever. Because little old me, country girl from Southern Illinois, big sinner, I'm like, God, are you sure? Are you sure this is me? Are you sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing? Are you sure? But there was no question in my mind because of how my prayers were being answered. And that's how I knew what was happening was good, but I didn't know what it was. So I had a lot of coaching and mentoring from a lot of different people, from Catholic priests to clairvoyants to you know, mediums and people who have experienced this themselves and with their clients, because I was kind of freaking out, frankly.
What did the priest have to say about your experience?
The priest questioned me a lot because he knew that at the time I was sick. I was you know, physically ill. And when I say that, hypoglycemia is a blood sugar issue, So for me, I had fasting. So I burn more calories at night sleeping than the average person during the day. So that already makes it difficult for me with the hypoglycemia. So I already have to intake more. So in the morning, it was always the worst for me. So he wanted, and this is a family friend who I've known since I've been in 2nd grade, this particular priest. And that's why I went to him, because I was very comfortable with him. I was kind of scared too, because I didn't know, a lot of Catholic priests write that stuff off. You know, they're not open-minded to it. So he was, but he asked me a lot of questions, you know, just to kind of verify, are you sure this is what it is and it's not your mind playing tricks on you, wishful thinking, part of your illness. And when he saw the pictures and video, then there was no more question. And eventually during our conversation, he understood what was happening, and basically what it was is, the one night I really realized what was happening, I sat in my closet and I bawled my head off, because I realized they're just trying to bring me to God again. They're just trying to give me that childlike love that I used to have growing up in Catholic school for him again. So these angels are kind of showing themselves, because they are, technically their name means God's messengers. So they are giving me buco gifts and signs and signals that I can see with my open eyes and my closed eyes, and on picture and on video, to really let me know, we're here, we've always been here, we've never left. And that's when I just sobbed, because then I felt guilty, then I felt like all the times I was angry and thought God wasn't there, or you know, my angels weren't there, or...
And sometimes we go through a lot, and we need to hear from God, and sometimes God pulls us out with a strong hand. So, you know, I never doubt anyone that, and their experiences they've had in that arena.
And I didn't open up for a long time about it, because I thought people would think I was crazy or something. I mean, really, that's a big deal to say, hey, I can see angels. I see them every day. I see them every night. They're colors, not like angels, like colors and all kinds of different things. But yeah, so that's what the book is going to be about. But it changed my life, and it's made me more committed to what I do for a living, and it's made me more, I have more answers every day now about what do I do today? Lead me. You know, I just want to follow you. As soon as I really knew what was going on, I signed, sealed, and delivered the deal with God, and I said, I will follow you wherever you take me. If you're going to give me these gifts, I'm with you, but good luck, because I'm not going to be easy. I warned him, it's not going to be easy. I'm just telling you, letting you know, heads up, it's not going to be easy. But I
matter, you're still his.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good stuff. I can't wait to read your book.
I'm really excited about it, and I have kind of a series already of titles written and a little bit written for each one, but the one in particular, which is really what happened last year and how it happened and why. Because here's the thing, if I was chosen, or whatever it was, or rediscovered these things, anybody, everybody has access to angels and to God. Wow. Everybody. And that's really my motivation for writing the book is, if all of a sudden, a sick little skinny girl, just praying her heart out at night, receives all these gifts. I mean, literally, I've had big prayers, little prayers, miracle prayers answered either the next day or in the nick of time.
Wow.
When I needed it to happen. Wow. So there's just no question.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Tell us a little bit what led you or motivated you into, I guess, the creative arts, being a publicist. What was your catalyst for that?
Well, as I said, I'd always known, even through high school and grade school even, I was always artistic.
Okay.
The sketching and things like that. So I always was very partial, always very visual, always able to walk into a room and be the one to notice the crooked picture or something, you know what I mean, and want to fix it. So very visual and always had an introspective mind. And, you know, I think every creative person sees things that other people don't see.
Yeah, you're right. We do.
And I think that's part of their unique talent and their unique ability. And that's why some people, like, don't get them.
You're right. We're creative people. We are very
Because you see the world around you and things differently. So that was part of it. I'd always known I was a good writer. It's always come easy for me. I never just thought about it as a career until, as I said, at Webster University I was surrounded by those writers and knew I had to find a way. So I did have some great opportunities, freelance writing, photography and stuff like that I did as I worked full-time, or at one point I think I had 3 jobs going to college and was doing that and raising my daughter.
Busy lady.
Doing a lot of stuff, paying the bills, and trying to get my foot in the door. But what really, really made me take the leap to having my own little business and doing a sole proprietorship was when my father was ill with pancreatic cancer back in. He found out in February, and I started to realize he didn't get to really follow his passion like he would have wanted to, like he had always wanted to, until the last 4 or 5 years of his life, and he was only 64. I really think we thought he'd beat this, but regardless, so these things are coming into my mind and things are kind of crystallizing. It's not worth it, because I could wind up like my dad tomorrow. Nobody knows when their time is up. So you may as well do what you know you love, because God doesn't give the same talents and passions to everybody. So it's really, to me, I started to see it as a responsibility even to the gifts that God gave to you.
I have to add that's a great point, because and I've mentioned it before, that I retired from the Air Force at 22 years, and people are like, why are you retiring so early? You have a long career ahead of you. I retired just before my first promotion board to lieutenant colonel.
Oh,
yeah, I did, and because I needed to explore my creative side, it was just my creative side was just bursting at the seams.
And you just knew that was the
time.
time.
I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't hold it back anymore, and I had to go with what those talents that God had put in me. So I understand you completely, and you're right. People don't see us the same way. I feel that my neighbors think I'm a little.
I know you have so many naysayers. Your family just get a job at McDonald's. Do something safe. They don't get it. They don't get it, and that can be hard. But you know, in your heart of hearts,
what God has placed in me.
Yes.
And He don't give us these creative juices for nothing.
Yes.
To sit on them. So I'm proud of you for doing that. And I've gotten the 2 fingers, and so that means that we're running out of time.
Okay.
Do you want to share one thing with us that nobody knows about you, or very few people know about you, real quick?
I already did. I can see.
Did you? Okay. You're right. You're right. She can see.